What is up, Honey Badger Nation? This is John Kitchens, and this is episode 107 of Expert Mentors Live. Super excited for today's episode. We've got the one and only Mr. Curt Shewell on with us. And, man, we're going to talk a little bit about why it's not about you. We're going to talk about one of my favorites, micro commitments. And let's not sell our clients, but let's help them buy. So, Curt, say hello to the Honey Badger Nation.
Honey Badger Nation, good to see you guys as always. Thanks for having me on the show, John.
You know, I was looking back. I was like, man, when did we have Curt on before? It's been exactly 1 year.
Oh my God.
1 year. Wow. Yeah, we did episode 61. So 107. It's been a year time frame, but man, a lot has happened in those 12 months for sure.
Yeah, it sure has. Sure has been. I've been in real estate, 15, 16 years. It's the best year of my entire career, my life in real estate, as far as the most fun I've ever had, the most growth for me personally in real estate that I've ever had. Now that sounds almost clichéic, but it's crazy when you surround yourself with the right people. Wow, where your mind goes and what you learn. It's crazy. And you're one of those people, John. I mean,
I appreciate that.
I'm a huge fan of you. So
I appreciate it, brother. So, for a little, for the folks, man, I was looking, we just cracked 4,000 members inside of the Honey Badger Facebook group, Honey Badger Nation.
It's awesome.
Unbelievable. Al puts it into context. Al moved the brokerage over in August 15th. So his three-year anniversary is coming up in August.
Wow. And
there were only 4,000 agents at EXP. And so it's like, think about that, right? Just as many people in the Honey Badger Nation was what this company was 3 years ago. So it's unbelievable.
3 years from 4,000 to 31,000.
31,000. Yeah. Incredible.
Monster growth, man.
Yeah. Give the folks listening in, since we do have so many newer Honey Badgers that weren't, hanging out with us, a year ago, last time you were rocking things with us. Just give them a little background.
Yeah. We came in, I partnered with Mark Z coming in. Mark's a baller, number one team in the state of Michigan. As far as Mark was at Keller Williams for 12 years. He was at Coldwell Banker for like 5 years before that. So Mark's been in for 17 years. And Mark's brand, the Mark Z brand in Metro Detroit, is just massive. It's the number one most recognizable brand. So that was a big, big deal. And when we switched over to EXP in the state of Michigan, there was under 300, 200 and some agents, like 215 or 17 or something like that, agents in the state of Michigan. Nobody heard of EXP.
No.
So it was quite an interesting thing. And in doing so, when we made our splash, so I partnered with Mark. I was running another brokerage, and when we partnered to do this, it was to get him out of Keller, to get him over here. And, he had done a great job at Keller. Keller's a great company for him, let him be his own brand and their own guard. So no knock on them at all. But it rides its course, right? There's only so far it could take him. Keller wasn't going to be able to help him grow anymore. So what we were able to do is, with the EXP model, take this to a crazy length. So if you think about it, here Mark was doing $100+ million a year. And since we've made the switch, 2 years this month is our 2-year anniversary. So coming in with EXP, now we're doing over $150 million of business. So our business has exceeded just insane by going to EXP that no one ever heard of, because they don't care, right? The client doesn't care. The client cares about you. And if you're a new agent, like you said, John, to the people coming onto this thing, it did nothing but strengthen us, because it also made us look at things better and differently than we had, because we look at it as a collective group. Mark Z team, on our team, we had 12 agents on the team that were selling. Now we have 51 just on our team. So of course our business is flourishing because of it. Our brand recognition and our brand in Michigan, all of a sudden EXP is the talk of the town, right? So we start bringing out all these other big players here locally, and it really helped, right? You bring in, one significant player and you play on that. So not only did it help us personally, right, to, expanding over 700 agents with us collectively in EXP, in a 2-year span, that's pretty awesome. I got to be honest, we're pretty happy about it. Yeah, I expected to be at 1,000. So, the knock on me is I spend too much time running our business and not enough time helping it. But we've done well. We now have 14 branch offices in Metro Detroit, Michigan here that are all tied to us that we've flipped over and brought on. So our broker, she loves us. We have a phenomenal relationship with her. EXP as a company, I can't even tell you. Look at the relationship. Like I didn't know you 2 years ago.
Right.
And now I feel like I've known you my whole life. I'll never sell real estate without knowing Johnny Kitchens. The micro commitment thing you talked about, I learned that from you. That was the first time I'd ever heard the term coined that way. And it just was one of those things that you get that aha moment. You're like, man, that just makes sense. Wow, if I put that into the training I'm doing and I take my team and, I took the liberties of putting our Mark Z, training manual here. And this is what we teach. And there's all this great stuff. Well, we had to go through it and change the whole damn thing, modify it, right? And add all these things, because doing it the right way is one thing, but doing it the most efficient and instead of being busy, being productive, game changer.
Yeah, it is, man. And it's so exciting. I'd love for you to kind of unpack that and how you guys have applied it into your business and how, it's made a significant difference for you.
Oh, for sure. Again, working with a guy like Mark, the guy's done it at the highest level. So to pull from him, that's an easy one, right? I'm with him every day, work with him, every day, so I can really understand the way he thinks and the way he sees a bigger picture. But when you take it, like you said, and you really, put it into a micro or even down to a macro level where you're literally really just looking at this thing differently, and you start tweaking the smallest things, it moves the needle quickly. And that's what we find for our team. Right? Agents want to sell another house, right? What's their focus? Is it being a billionaire and making $1 billion? No, it's really not. They say that, but that's not really where their focus is. Their focus is, I've got to get that next deal. I've got to sell the next house. So the first thing I had to do is get their mindset right and to make it not about them. And it's the easy thing. If I said to you, John, hey, John, you're role playing me, who's it about? Oh, it's about my client, and I tell him this and I tell him that. And I tell him this and I tell him that. Stuff, right? It's not about telling them anything. You have to ask them. Right? How do you know what they want? Well, you don't until you ask them. So when you start asking questions and stop being the one talking at them, and now you start talking to them and you're asking them questions, they're participating. When they participate, now you've got that, right? We talk about, learning to work smarter, not harder. And everybody's said that your whole life. I mean, I heard it my whole life. My dad told me 1,000 times, but he never gave me the directions of what did that really mean. All he kept telling me was work harder. And go work harder, and hey, get a second job and a third job and go work, 17, 18, 20 hours of the day. That's working harder, not smarter, because nobody gives you the directions. So when somebody says to you, stop making it about you, and you're like, no, I don't make it about me. And then you dive into it and you really uncover and peel back those layers. You start seeing that, what space are you really in? Are you in your space or their space? Because if you're not in their space, you're not helping them. And it's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about them. It's about you. So when you really, truly flip the script and now you make it about them, you will close almost every client you have. They will trust you, right? We all know, like, trust. Well, they trust you, right? You've got to bring value. We'll talk about that if you'd like. And that's about those micro commitments as you go down the way, is where you're getting that credibility because they're committing to you, right? Your credibility goes up, which establishes the trust. So taking them down that path, it's a no-brainer. Once you really submit and succumb to the fact that it's got to be about them. And the way we make it about them, ask questions. Every single thing you do, don't tell them anything, only ask them. And this is where agents get confused. When I'm training them and we're going through the role plays and we're doing this stuff, we're doing it for real. They'll say to me, well, Curt, I made it about them. And then I told them this for the next 15 minutes. Exactly. Stop telling them shit. But Curt, they said they like this. And I said, yeah, I do too. Don't ever say I. Get that out of your vocabulary. Me, my, get those out of your vocabulary. The only time you're using them is when you're quoting them. If I heard you correctly, John, what you said to me was this, this, and this. Is that still correct? Yeah. Great. Get that micro commitment out. Yes. So you did want this, this, and this. Is that correct? Yes. And all you're doing is reaffirming their commitments, right? You're reaffirming what they said. So you're getting constant micro commitments throughout the presentation of the house or whatever you're doing, but you're getting them, or in a listing presentation, it's the same thing on either side of the coin. You're getting them to commit to you over and over and over and over. Would you, if I could get you what you wanted, John, would you like me to sell your house? Well, yeah.
Another micro commitment.
Yeah, it's a two-part question, but the question they want to answer is, yes, I want to get this because you promised if you could give me this, yes, that you would use me I put that in there. So every time I do it, I get a micro commitment to me. So if I could get you the most amount of money, is that what you'd like me to do? Get you the most amount of money? Yes.
Sure.
It's what they've asked for. And all you're doing is rephrasing it, right? So we frame it and then we loop them back to where we want them to go. But it's about that. So you're getting those commitments all along the way, because it's not about you, it's about that. If I'm repeating their words back to them, John, they can't help but say yes to what they wanted, because that's what they're telling me they wanted. And I can't mess up, right? What's the biggest problem an agent has? The biggest fear you have? They're going to ask you a question you don't know.
Right.
Right. That's all we're always afraid of. Don't ask me something I don't know. Oh my God, what am I going to do then? I'm stupid and I'm no good. And then they can't work with me. Not true.
Right.
Not true at all. If you repeat back to them what they said, and that's probably the first trick, if you want to call it that I teach the agents. How about if I could give you a fail-safe, guarantee you, John, that they could never ask you something you don't know? Would that make you confident and feel comfortable? Sure.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's really simple. Answer every question with a question. You keep control of the conversation. They're not hitting you in an area that you don't want to go. They can't trip you up because you're the one asking the questions. And if you can master the art of answering every question with another question, so you stay in complete control of that conversation, you're never going to go down the wrong pipe. And the trick, when they ask you something you don't know or you're not sure of, repeat back to them exactly what they said in a question form. Just repeat it back to them, asking them right back, and they'll repeat it to you in typically another way, which gives you an idea of, oh, okay. And if you really don't know, and this applies to any question they can ask you, and I really don't care what it is. I mean, make up your own question any way you want, but answer it this way. So if I'm understanding what you're actually asking me, explain to me where you're trying to get with that. Where are we trying to go with that? What's the end result for that? And
right.
Take those words, and I don't care what question they asked you, it applies. And then they'll tell you, well, the reason I asked you about the paint is because I have to have this, this, and this. Oh, okay. So what you're asking me is, can I get you this, this, and this? Yes? Great. I haven't even answered them. I just redefined what the question was, what the objection was, where we're supposed to go. Love Chuck Fazia. Chuck's the man.
No, it is, it is such a, being, I'm the math guy, right? So it's like, what is your question to statement ratio, right? What is that ratio? Where does it need to be? We've got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? So like, are we asking more questions? And everything that you're saying there, and it's just processing, because everything's leadership, right? Everything rises and falls on leadership, and I think that's the internal growth as an agent, or just as a human being, period, is that when you have that evolution to where you're asking more questions than you are just speaking, right? I think that's the evolution in your personal leadership, your personal growth, that when you can make that distinction. Like, and we're all human, right? And we all catch ourselves. And it's like, I've got out of conversations and I've walked away and I'm gone like, shit, man, I talk 90% of the time. Like, why wasn't I asking more questions? And I think that's a huge distinction, to the main point of, it's not about you, and it never is. It never can be, if you want to, grow and become, the best that you absolutely can be.
Yeah, I think the one thing you said right there, John, and I think if I'm watching this as a newer agent or agent trying to sell another house, you got to hit on what you just said. When you look back, like you said, and you realize you did more talking than asking questions, you're only doing that when you didn't get it, or you didn't close them. Because if you closed them, you did it right, and you didn't talk too much, and you said all the right things, and you asked all the right questions. We do that when we reflect back and go, okay, what am I going to do with them now? Ah, shit. And you evaluate, you do that math equation, like, oh God, I did all this. Oh God, I killed myself. And when you really can do that and evaluate and analyze it, it's easy to see where you screw up, right? It's not about when we win. We know why we won. You have to learn to know why you lost. If you don't know why you lost and why you didn't close them or you didn't get that client, if you don't know why, you're not getting anywhere. You're going to stay in that same route because you're going to continually do the wrong things and expect a different result. It's not going to happen. You have to know why you lost. That's how you win. No different than anything else. Failure gives you your success. There's all the lessons in the failure, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, sometimes, agents, that build their business on just word of mouth and referral, there's some things in this business that we get rewarded for bad behavior. And so when we really have to make sure, we're maybe competing or we're doing something, to where we've got to really make sure that, this client in front of me, they don't know me from Adam. Right. And so it's like, I've got to make sure that I don't skip any steps in the process. It's that whole skipping steps only presents the illusion of speed. And, when we skip those steps, we don't get those micro commitments. We think we've got it done. That's when we lose and we walk away. You're like, well, I just skipped a bunch of steps. I thought I had it. Right. And until you can reflect back on that. How are you guys? So definitely in our presentations, in our conversations with buyers and sellers, using those micro commitments, getting those little tie downs, right? As you transition through the process. How are you guys incorporating the micro commitments with the agents and helping them be better, helping them be more productive? Are you guys incorporating the micro commitments with them?
Of course, and I'll do it multiple sides, right? Internally, like you're saying, for our agents to get them to start working smarter and not harder, working better, right? It goes all hand in hand with that. If they commit, right, it's kind of the Chet Black, analogy of, what is your commitment? What are you committed to doing? And I can't make you do anything. I can lead you. I can answer your questions. I could be your Google search by coming to me and I'll just give you all the answers. But the truth is, I can't want it for you. I can't want it more than you if you expect to have success. You have to want it for yourself, right? But you have to believe in yourself. And that's the first commitment I got to get them to do. They got to commit to believing in themselves. They got to commit that they actually can do this if they follow a process that's already paved for them. Stay on the road, right? Stay on that path. Don't bounce off it. Don't try to reinvent anything. You don't have to, right? We talk about duplication and replication. Duplication is a process that can be repeated and then you duplicate, but you have to replicate because it has to be yours. You got to own it. It's no different than your scripts. If you're not committed to knowing your script, and I use the analogy in training all the time with the best movie. What's your favorite movie? It's this movie. Great. Who's your favorite actor in that movie? Oh, it's Matthew McConaughey. Do you think Matthew McConaughey just gets up there and wings it and pretends to be the role? No, he's reading the damn script, right? He's sticking right to what it says. And the minute he says it wrong, cut. The director says, come on, Matthew, get your head out of your rear and say it the way I wrote it, right? You got to know your script. If you don't know your script, you're going to lose every time. So you have to commit to that. So again, it's these micro commitments. It's a small piece, but it's the building block, right? So after we've had 5 commitments, 10 commitments, 20 commitments, well, you're committed to the whole process. So you have to trust in that process, but you got to commit to it. So if I got to start them somewhere, they don't realize what's happening, like you're saying, John, but you have to start them with baby steps and you got to, crawl before you can walk, before you can run. But you've got to commit to each one of these pieces. I can't take you to the next place till you're committed to going to that next place. So we do that. And it's no different than with the agent to get them to buy or sell. It's really irrelevant which side they're on. They've got to commit to that process. They got to commit to themselves to have that success. Same with agent attraction. If I'm attracting agents and we're talking about other agents, it's the exact same thing, right? It's not about you. It's got to be about them. If you're not making it about them, why are they coming? They're not attracted to you because you're pushing them away because you want to tell them how great you are. They don't want to know how great you are. They already think something of you or they wouldn't be having the conversation with you. It's getting that first date, right? You get that first 100%. Date. Once you're on that first date, stop trying to convince them to go on a date with you. You're on the date. Be in the date, right? Be there. Be present.
Be there. Be present. Yep.
Yeah, right. And you say it all the time. I've heard you say it many times. And I love that. Right? Again, I use that in our training. Be present. Meet them where they are, right? If I'm attracting an agent, it's no different than attracting a client, right? What's my value proposition? Well, here's what I can offer you. What do you want? I need to be asking all the questions to you. I have to get micro commitments from you of what you want. And then we use the, no is your friend. Everybody's programmed to say no. You go to a furniture store, you got the sharks all standing at the front. Hey, how you doing? All they're saying is saying hi. And we're like, oh, just looking, stay the hell away from me, right? And then within 30 seconds, we're like, where the hell are the couches I'm looking for? And then you're like, hey, where you at? I need help, right? Well, you just told me to fuck off, but now you want up, right? We're programmed to do these things. So the micro commitments that are within that. So when we're saying, hey, what are you looking for out of your brokerage? And no is your friend. They're programmed to say no, right? So they want to say no. No is safe. No, John, I'm just not ready to move. Right? No, John, I'm not interested in cover. No, John, I don't want all these wonderful things. No, John, I don't want to make $1 billion. I'm set making my $40.
Yes.
They say stupid things because we're programmed to say no. No is safe, right? No is the safest word on the planet. Don't get me saying yes. Don't take me down that yes train and up that yes ladder. You know, the 80s movies, all, you know, if you're drowning and I threw you a lifeline, would you grab it? Say yes. Trust me. Let's do this. Say yes, yes, yes. Stop. That is very old school. That is not how it's done today. No is your friend. Embrace the no. I can close you a lot softer and easier if I get you saying no, which is the close. You know, John, would you stay working for a brokerage that doesn't provide any of those things for you?
Yeah.
Right? You just said you needed this, this, and this. This is what's killing you, right? Is that right, John? Yeah, that's really where I'm having trouble. Okay. So you wouldn't work for somebody that was going to continue doing that to you, would you? Well, that sucks. I have to say no, right? Well, now I'm getting a micro commitment out of them because no is my friend. So I'm closing them with no's. Same as a client, right? You know, if you could have an opportunity to get the opportunity of a lifetime, everything that you're looking for, would you want to pass that up? No. Okay, great. Again, no is your friend. So we're going to continually take them down that path of no. No is so safe, right? Would you work for a place that didn't give you this? No. Would you work for a person that did this to you? No. Would you not make a change because you want to stay there when it's not working for you? No. Is this what you're looking for, to stay here, or are you looking for something better? Probably something better. So would you stay where you're at if it wasn't better? No. Now, I'm telling them what I want to tell them, but I'm asking them, and I'm giving them answers that all end in no, which are good for me, good for them, good for us, right? No different than a client. You know, when you get agents all the time, you know, and I actually take them in the field and actually teach them how to present a house, because it's shocking how many agents have no clue how to actually present a house, right? Do you go in the bathroom with the client? Never. No. It's the smallest room in the house. Do you want to walk in the closet? Do you really want to get in the closet with them?
It's awkward.
Great huge closet that we're in here. We got no room now. No, they can go in there. So it's pushing and pulling, right? We teach how to push them this way or pull them this way. You know, step right this way. Let me show you this here. They're going to follow, right? Or push. So they feel like they're looking on their own, and you're totally there pulling the strings, right? You're controlling your client. You're controlling the climate. And then you're getting them to consistently micro commit all along the way. So when you do that, you teach them to do the same thing. So from agent attraction, knows your friend, you know, from when it's time to close them on the house, and you want to ask them, well, you know, this is great. And they, oh my God, I love it. The house is beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, great. And then there's this awkward thing, right? Well, do you want to buy it? You know, everybody holds their breath. Like, why did this just get awkward? They're in love with the house, right? And then, well, I have to see all these yes things, right? No. How about no? How about make no real simple? Is there any reason that we wouldn't go ahead and move forward on this house? Oh God, no. No is a safe word.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to get them to say yes. No is perfectly fine if you ask the right question, right? Do we want anybody else to take this house? No. Right? Do we want to go ahead and look at more houses and not get this one? No. Right? Do we want to live the rest of our lives not in your dream home? No. Great. Let me get the paperwork ready for you. Let me go start the process. Great. Let's get this thing off the market. Let me take care of it for you. It's not a question anymore of do you want to, and you have to say this painful yes. Get them to say no. No is your friend, right? And you know, we take it on all levels. When I take agents out to look at houses and to show them how to present them, one of the, you know, like we started another training class next Monday's day one of the training. Literally day one, I'm taking them in the field and I'm teaching them how to actually sell a house. I'm going to teach them from the whole thing. You sell from the outside in. It's the it's the community, it's the neighborhood, it's the subdivision, it's the street, it's the house. That's how you sell outside in. So we're doing 5-10 minutes of deciding if we're buying this house outside before we ever step in the house. And agents make this massive mistake and they immediately try to jam them and get them in the house. Well, they just crossed over these railroad tracks to get here. And they're looking at these things. How was your ride in? That's the very first thing. How was your ride in? How did you like driving into the sub here? Oh my God, it's god awful. There's the light here and there's railroad tracks. And does the train come through here? Oh yeah, twice a day. Only twice. Oh really? You need to ask them. No matter if this is the Taj Mahal we're walking into, would you ever buy this house? No.
No.
Great. We're not going in the house.
Let's go.
Agents can't, right. Let's get the hell out of Dodge. Right. Let's go to that next one, because agents will still go, well, while we're here, why don't we just go in? Or the client will say it to you. Well, while we're here, let's at least go take a look. And then let me respectfully ask you again. If it's the Taj Mahal, would we ever live here? Could you buy this house with the trains, with this, that you just told me are all the reasons you cannot, deal breaker, you can't buy it? Did something change? And I asked him that. Did something change? No. But we're here. We might as well look. As your agent, as a professional, as an expert in what I do, I would never, ever waste your time showing you a home that you couldn't buy. I would never do that to you. You wouldn't want me to do that to you, would you? No. Right. Let's go. Get them the hell out of Dodge. Because what's going to happen, John, is you're going to take them in this house and 100% guaranteed, Murphy's Law, they will see the unicorn in that house that you cannot find anywhere else. And it's only in this house because it sits on a train track with a CVS behind it with an 8-foot wall and rats running across there because there's a Chinese restaurant behind them. And oh my God, I can't live here. Right? But I love this one thing in the house. Let's go find a house that has that. We're never going to find a house that has that.
Exactly.
It's a different unicorn, John. So, it's these things. Yeah.
There was a great point that you said in there, and I want to emphasize it just a little bit because it goes back to anything, right? And it was, has the goal changed, right? What am I missing?
Yes.
Right. You're behaving differently. What am I missing?
Yep.
And I just think that's a fantastic question. Whenever you think you're on the same page and you seem like you're not, that's the question to step back. Say, hey, I'm missing something here. What has the goal changed?
Yeah.
Right. And I just want to make sure everybody caught that because it's so key.
Here, I'll touch on that one step further. In our training that we actually do, on the page the section that we go through that, John, and I'm glad you caught on to that because it's paramount. What happens is we assume everything for our clients because we think we already know. And it's an inherent mistake we make constantly. So when the client tells you something, you need to repeat it back to them. They need to hear themselves say it. Mm-hmm. They say things that do not reflect what they really mean. So we take it verbatim because they said it. And, oh, we know everybody that says this means this, this, and this. It doesn't mean that for this one client. And what happens is you get caught going down the wrong path. So if you do not ask them, one, to repeat it back to them and put it down, is that something we must have? So, okay, just to make sure I've got our list here, write the shit down. Right?
Man, that's a great one. Buyers and sellers have selective amnesia. And so like if you don't have that documented to where you can revisit, like it'll derail you, it'll frustrate you. Just that's the agreements versus expectations, right? If we need to have a clear agreement. We're all on the same page. What is success? Because when we leave it up for expectation, we're going to be let down 100% of the time.
Sure.
You've got to nail that.
You have to, right? Because here's how I use this exact conversation for helping our agents. I tell them all the time, if you show somebody 30 houses, I will kick you off my team. You cannot work here. That is horrible. And they're like, what do you mean, Curt? They want to see 30 houses. Look at the list they sent me. And one of our absolute top agents just got a list with 27 houses on it from a client that said, here's the 27 that we think we want to see. And she goes, oh my God, I can't believe this. I have to show them this. And I said, no, first of all, you do not. Right. And then I said, what are the 3 things or 2 that are absolute must haves? And what's the one thing that they cannot live with? There's always one that they can't have. And there's always 2 or 3 that are must. Sometimes they think their must list is 5. It's really not. It's 2 or 3. You're the expert. They expect you to be the expert. Don't forget that. So when you write down what they said were the deal makers and the one thing that's the deal breaker, write it down and repeat it back to them constantly. Because you need to ask them that question. When they say, okay, oh my God, I think this house could work for us. Great. And you're like, there's no way this is going to work based on what they've been telling me. In my mind, but it's not about me. It's about them, right? So then the question is straight up. Okay, great. Sounds like this house could be the right one. Yeah, I think so, Curt. Okay, great. Well, the 3 things you said were absolute must-haves are this one, which these have, check. But then it says this one. Has something changed? Yeah. That changed. Are we okay without that one? Okay. and then repeat it back. If they say yes, because they're going to come back buyer's remorse on you tomorrow and say, okay, I don't want to buy that house now. And you just do this whole headache, right? You need to say it to them a second time. What I mean by that is they're not talking them out of anything. Remember, everyone wants to buy. No one wants to be sold. Don't sell anybody anything. Help them buy. Don't sell them. Help them buy. That's all we're here to do. We're here to help you buy what you want. It's not about me, because you ain't coming back to me tomorrow, next week, next year saying you made me do this. No. I asked you repeatedly, and this is where this whole checklist comes in. Here's the 3 things. It checks off 2 of the boxes, so it doesn't have this one, and that one's okay, you said, correct? Yes. Okay, great. So we're okay now. So something's changed. We said we had to have the 3. We're now good with the 2. Is that correct? Is that what you're telling me? Yes? Okay, great. Because make them think for a second. Don't get happy ears. Oh my God, I think they're going to buy it. Let's just run and write it. Slow down. They're still going to buy it. If this is the one they want, they're going to buy it. Relax. You can't be excited because they are. You need to stay the expert. Ask them again. And then the one thing you said it couldn't have is this, which it doesn't. So it seems like it checks most of our boxes. Are these our new boxes? Has that changed?
Yeah.
That's a third time. Close them. You'll
so
never have them twice.
Yeah, I mean, they just, we need to be reminded more than we need to be told. And so it is that, and it is the positioning you as the true expert. I mean, that's
right.
It's just the positioning that we all have to embrace and take, especially, as the real estate landscape is changing and evolving. If you're not positioned as that expert advisor, disruption is definitely going to take its. It
is.
Wipe you out.
Yeah.
Man, that's so good. There were some things in there from a value perspective. Anything that you had mentioned early on. Just it's about just continuing to add as much value as you can throughout the whole process. Is there anything, and speak to both, right? Speak to buyers, sellers, speak to your agents. What are we doing to, consistently continue to add as much value throughout the process? Okay.
From my management or leadership coaching them to how they're doing it, or actually checking on what they're doing. So from either side, if you got to make it as simple as possible for them to get them right. Real estate agents, and all of you watching, we're all real estate agents, right? We're salespeople, right? We're distracted by shiny objects. It's just how we are. You can be like John, ultra D, on top of his game and crazy, but this guy's still got that salesy stuff in him, right? So he's still high as well. As an influencer, this is what we do. We influence people into buying and moving the way we want them to, but it's not we're tricking them in anything, right? We're taking them down the path. So you got to make the path as simple as possible. So keep it really, really simple. So let's go on a sell side. Right, just from a seller's perspective. And if you listen to the Tina Calls of the world and the Mark Z's of the world and these people that are amazing at doing listings and, they just constantly just ask all the right questions and these people just boom, right? So it's the same thing, but keep it simple. What does a seller care about, right? Well, they care about no, they don't. Stop. What do they care about? They care about how much money they're going to get, right? They care about how fast you can sell the house depending on their time frame. And they care about the fact they got to pay you. Some of them have heartburn with that. Okay. Don't dance from it. Don't hide from it. Don't run from it. Those are the 3 things you got to cover, right? Because those are what's important to them, but you got to ask them. So I asked right up front, what's the most important thing to you? So when I'm teaching and coaching my agents along, you got to go into it asking the 3 questions. Hey, listen, one of 3 things is going to happen when we're done with this presentation. Either 1, you're going to want to hire me and I'll accept your listing. 2, I'm going to want to work with you, and then I'm going to want you to have me list your house. Or 3, we're going to agree not to work with each other because I may not want to work with you, and you may not want to work with me, and any of those are okay, right? So you got to set that groundwork right away. When you do a takeaway like that and you hit them with, I may not want to work with you, it's like, wait a minute, what? Because they think you're in there to beg them for their business. No, you're a professional. You got to act like it. So keep it very simple. And then the 3 things you want to ask them straight up. If I had to ask you, John, if you're the client, listen, if we sell your house, what's the most important thing to you, John? How much money you get at the end? How much ever price we sell the house for, or how fast we do it? Which one's the most important?
Yeah, and it's gonna be different for everybody, right? So Curt, this thing, we got to move this thing. We're about to be behind on payments. We got to move it fast.
Sure. So we need to get top dollar the best we can, but the most we can get in this amount of time. Is that what you're telling me, John?
Absolutely.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm correct then. So
write it down.
Number one,
write it down.
Okay, John, you're telling me, so I've got it right. I need to get you out of here by that date, XYZ date. Great. Let's pick that. Let's write that down. Great. And I need to get you the most I can by that amount of time. Is that correct, John?
Yep.
Right. And that's all I'm doing. I'm committing. You're committing to me 6 times that this is exactly our game plan and what we're doing, because I need to know exactly what our plan of attack is, John. The most important thing to you is this, right, John? Okay, great. And that's what we need to do. So I need to go at it that way. On the flip side, if the answer was, hey, Curt, I need the most amount. I'm going to sell for the highest price because, my house should sell for more than my neighbor's house. You never heard that one before, right?
Never heard that before.
Yeah, never, right? So when they hit you with that, what you want to do is say, okay, great. So it's very important that we get the top dollar for this house. And the top dollar is how much, John? I'm going to throw it back at you, because they're going to turn around and go, well, wait a minute, Curt, I want you. You're the expert. You tell me. Well, I'm going to tell you, you know what every house is worth, right, John? Whatever the market bears, right? Whatever somebody's willing to pay for it. That's how much your house is worth. And what I want to do is I want to find a client that's willing to grossly overpay for your house. Would that be okay?
No, that wouldn't work for me.
Right?
Yeah.
They're going to commit to that. Yes. Great. So we're on the same page, you and I, John, because remember, it's not, if I'm like this with them, John, right? If I'm across the seat from them, across the table from them, right? They see me as against them. I'm on this side of the table. They have to see me as here. So I've got to get my arm around them, looking at it this way. And when you're literally with a person face to face, you've got to get them seeing you aside. So position yourself, turn your body. You don't have to put your arm around them. You don't have to touch them. Let's not get crazy here, right?
Yep.
But I need to position myself to where we're looking out together at this.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at this, because if I'm doing this, I'm selling you. Never, ever, ever do I want them to feel I'm selling them, right? We're selling them on our house, every single thing. Remember, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. If I'm going to get them to micro commit to me consistently throughout this process, then I've got to keep committing to them to commit to me, right? We need to do this. So what you're asking me to do, John, is to make sure that we get them to grossly overpay. Is that what you'd like me to do? Yes. Now it goes back to them micro committing to me already. I'm already their agent because I just applied it, right? If it's implied, they now agreed to it, but it's us against them. And it's always us, right? So we got to make sure that they feel that way. And again, it's the smallest things. It's not this monumental, thing. So when you ask me, how do we keep and coach our agents along the way? We got to keep it simple. Right? We got to keep it so simple. It's and only this.
Just to emphasize again what you're saying there for everybody to really listen in. The thing with commitments is that if people don't have the details and know what they're committing to, they're not going to fully commit. And so like what Curt's breaking down here for you guys is that he's getting so specific on what it is exactly, so they know what it is that they're committing to. That's the power of commitments.
Yeah. Put it right in front of them, right? 100%. You're writing it down, their words, and then they're nodding their head like, yes, that's what, right there. And I need you to sell it and not make any money on that. Well, okay. Well, you and I both know that wouldn't work, right? That wouldn't be what you'd want. If you could out negotiate me, you're still going to want to use me, would you? Well, that sucks. Oh, I guess I wouldn't. Right. Knows your friend. Knows a safe word. Go ahead and say it. We already know. No, of course not. And you move right on. My commission is never in jeopardy because they want to pay me for a service they want me to do. But I needed to show them I'm Gucci, right? Yep. I'm Mercedes. You're going to pay for me. Oh, yeah, I don't lay down for you. I don't do it cheap. I'm not free. No, that's those guys that couldn't do it for you. You need me.
So I think that starts there too with that belief, right? Is believing, do you want to be the Ritz or do you want to be Motel 6? Like just having that belief. What do you want to believe? What do you want? And that's where it starts. So what are some of the things that you guys do to help these agents really help them with that mindset, help them with that belief?
First question, day one of training, first things that I ask in the series of different questions I'm asking them is, because again, I need them to commit, right? It's all about the commitment. So it's what you're saying, John. First thing I ask them is, if a client came in here right now in the door and they're standing here and we went, you, when I point at a random agent, could you honestly tell them that you're the best agent in the entire world right now today to help them? And almost all of them say no. No, probably not. And my answer to them is, you're so wrong. Are you not committed to that client? Would you not give them the best service you possibly could? You've got all the resources. There's nothing that they could want that you can't provide for them because you have all of us to leverage us. So what is it possible that they could want that you can't provide for them? Aren't you absolutely, if you're going to be honest with them, if you're going to be true to them, then you're going to do the absolute best you can. You're not going to get commission breath. If they buy a house for 240, 260, 270, who cares? It's pennies to you either way, but it's monumental to them. We're going to help them buy the one they want. Do you care if they bought the one for 240 instead of the one for 250? No. So are you not the best agent on the planet to help them? Yes, I am. There's my first micro commitment. They got to believe in themselves, right?
100%.
That at the beginning, they have to believe in themselves. I'm not going to let you fail. I'm right here. I'm going to help you, right? Our team is here to help you. You cannot mess up because we're here to hold you. You're not going to fall, okay? And they believe that once they buy in. So again, I need that commitment out of them. So day one, I need my team to commit to me. I need them to commit to, this is what you're going to do. I'm guaranteeing you the success as long as you, again, trust that process, stay in it, right? Trust, believe in yourself. First commitment, I need them to commit to themselves. So I need them there. So that's step one. Now I've got them going, okay, I've got it, right? Because you're leveraging us. Leverage us. There's your fail safe. When you were a kid and you went in front of your teacher and the teacher was mad at you, but your parent was with you, you felt a lot better, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Right? You weren't scared anymore because mom and dad are here to tell that teacher, no, you can't treat me bad and you can't do these things to me. You can't put me in the corner. Mom says so, right? So again, you're that to them. So I've got your safety net, and that's all you need is the confidence. So if I could show you a proven system that will work and I could give you the roadmap step by step and lay it out for you, can you commit to doing that? Yes, I will. So again, I have to get them to commit to being coachable now, right? Mm-hmm. John, if you had all the answers, you wouldn't need me, would you? You wouldn't need me, right? Why are we interviewing you to be on our team? Or why are you starting on my team? If you have all the answers, you don't need me. So if you think you might need me a little bit, great. Then why don't you succumb to the fact that you need me? Can you agree to that? Can we agree that you need me a little bit? Again, I'm not here to tell them I'm going to pound them over the head and whatever I say goes. I need them to commit to me, though. They have to be coachable. So they got to commit to themselves, right? And that's how I do step one. I ask them, would that client be best served by you or not? Then I put in a way that they're going to usually say, maybe, I don't know, probably not. And then I'm going to hammer them. You got to commit to yourself. You got to believe in yourself, right? So again, this goes back to, I can't want it more than you, and I can't want it for you. You have to want it. Oh, I want it. Great. If I could give it to you, would you do it? If I talk to every client for you, if I was literally with you, you feel confident? Absolutely. Great. Then I'm going to give you everything that you need to make it just like if I was sitting next to you. Would that be okay?
Yep.
Right. And then what I really find, John, is the confidence level to get them committed is writing stuff down, because I give them the questions, and we have an actual section right in here where we have the 9 questions that you have to ask, right? So it's a buyer section, and literally the first 2 questions are write-ins, because our 9 that we've had, the top 9 questions we have are literally listed out for them. And the first question you ask them is, where do you live now? And I don't care who they are. I don't care what they said they wanted to buy. Where do you live now? Right? Because if they're telling you that they're looking at buying a house in a pretty expensive neighborhood, 500,000, 600,000, 700,000, and they tell you that they live in a place that the top house, the biggest one there, is about 150 grand. Something's missing, right? Yeah. Could be several different things. So you've got to find out, right? Because I've got to get that person, I've got to commit to them in order to get them to commit to me. And if I think that they're out here in la la land, like, you're not even being realistic. How do you go from this city to this city? That's a quantum leap. This isn't small steps. This is a quantum leap. Did they hit the lotto?
Yeah. What am I missing?
They get an inheritance? Maybe. I need to find out. So my next question, to not insult them with like, wait, what? You live there? You want to live there? Like, no way. Nobody wants to do that. My next question is, so I start off, where do you live now? Because I'm going to learn an awful lot about them if I know where they're coming from, right? Remember, where you end is usually where you begin. Always has a lot parallel to where you end, right? So I want to know where they're beginning. So where do you live now? First question. Then the follow-up question to that is always, how long have you been there? So this guy says, I live in this town that sells really cheap houses. and they're looking to go up here where it's, 700,000, and they're talking to me a place that the biggest house there is 200. It doesn't make sense. So I asked them, well, how long have you been there? Oh, well, I've been there for about 90 days. I got divorced and I moved into my sister's place, and now I'm moving back because that's where I'm from. Okay. So you're from there. This makes sense now, right? So even though he lives there, now it makes sense that he's really from there and he had to go there for, some other reason. Now it makes sense. So when I do that, I'm getting them to understand. You need to understand your client. So if you want them to commit to you, you've got to ask the right questions. If I gave you the answers to the test, John, you can probably pass the test, right?
Yeah.
Well, good. How about I give you the answers to the test? Now you can ask all the right questions. We don't care what their favorite color is. I don't care if they like shingles or not. I really don't care. What I care about is what is going to help get them down the path that's going to get them what they want, right? I want to help them purchase a home. I want to help them get what they want. So I need to find out what matters. It's all about commitments, right? Step by step by step. So ask the right questions. And that's how we do it.
That's it ties right back in, right? It's not about you. It's trying to remember what it is that they're wanting to accomplish and how, you're the guide to help them get there. We had a question come in, Curt, talking about referrals. Is there kind of what's your take, the team's take on asking for referrals from clients who you're working with?
Sure. The easy one that kind of everybody does is, hey, the largest form of a compliment is you refer me to somebody else. And people have that in their signatures and things like that. So it's kind of that subconscious thing that gets in thinking, hey, what I typically do is, hey, now that we've found your dream home, we're getting this is so exciting. Have you told everybody? I like to ask that question. Have you told everybody you're moving yet? Some people are like, hell no. We don't. Nobody knows. We're keeping it down. It's very rare, but you get that. Okay, well, let's go to the 90s, meaning live in the 90s, 90 percentile. So 90% of the people are telling everybody under the sun, oh my God, yeah, we bought our dream house, and oh my God, again, and blah, blah, blah. If they're building, if they're buying, resale, whatever. So what I like to ask them right then, oh my God, this is so exciting. I'm so happy for you. You've told everybody. That's great. So you know how it is. Every time you tell everybody you're moving, now all your friends and your sisters and your brothers, they all want to move too. So who else can I help? Boom. Put it right in their lap. Who else can I help? I didn't say, who can you refer me to? And would you tell them to call? Who else can I help? I mean, now you're talking to everybody, and I'm sure everybody and their brothers telling you they want to move now too. So who else can I help?
That's awesome.
And now they think that you're doing them a favor instead of you asking them to do you the favor.
Yep.
I'll buy a parting gift and a closing gift if you give me a referral. Stop it. Why are you trying to buy them? You don't want to sell them. They've already bought with you. They love you. This is the time they like you the most.
Right.
Ask them right then. Who else is telling you that they're looking to buy or sell? Because, once you told them you're moving, I'm sure every one of them's moving.
Yep, 100%.
Who else can I help? And downplay it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, remember my cousin's sister's, oh my God. And she was so excited and she loves it over here. And she wants to live here with my mom. You start going on that path. It's easy to get referrals that way because it's not that awkwardness of when they said, I love the house. And like, do you want to buy it? And everybody's holding their breath and it got awkward. Why? Don't make your referrals awkward. Don't wait till you're done and go, hey guys, want to call now? Last week we closed yay us. And I just want to follow up because I love you guys so much. And I want to come over for the housewarming party and I'll buy you a gift. And is anybody else looking to buy or sell a house? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why become awkward? Stop with the awkward stuff. Oh my God. All right. Now that you moved in, if you forgot to ask, great. Now that you moved in, John, hey, I'm super geeked, man. I moved in. Has everybody come and seen the house? Instead of, if you told everybody, has everybody come to see the house yet? Oh my God, everybody's coming over. It's so exciting. Oh my God, I know. Now, how many of them want to live in your neighborhood now? Everyone. I know. Who else can I help? Which one of them should I help first?
Who should I help first? Yep, I like that.
Who should I help first?
Who should I help first? Yep. That's good. That's real good. So, Bryant's asking, is there a way that you guys would be willing to share the buyer and seller questions?
Hell no. Of course, man. That's what we do, right?
Cool.
Your nation.
So Brian, we'll get those posted for you guys here. Curt, if you want to send them over, we'll get them posted. Make sure everybody gets it. Yeah. Hey, so is there anything that you guys encourage or kind of like, hey, this is kind of recommended study material outside of what you guys provide, but like, hey, you need to be reading this, you need to be consuming this to help them be better at asking questions, right? Is there anything that you kind of recommend that they consume that would help them?
Yeah. Older books like, The Art of the Sale. If you really decipher through a lot of it, it's one of my faves from way back, because it's always about asking them what they want and then telling them that you can provide what they want, so they commit to you to say, yeah, that's what I want. I mean, it's so easy to sell somebody when they go, I want that. Can I have that? And you're like, I think I can get that for you. Oh God, thank you. All of a sudden you just provided them what they asked you for, right? Yep. You got to take the guesswork out of it. So any book that's all about, that it's not about you, and the books like that, I'm a fan of. It's really, kind of, again, I'm referencing Chep for the second time, but if you look at what Cheplack does, and to be honest with you, look what John Kitchens does. And everybody will call, and I hate sounding goofy to you, but bro, you do this as well or better than most anybody I've ever seen. Follow your stuff, because if you guys watching, go look at John's stuff. John's stuff's amazing, because he does everything I talked about is the stuff he already does. I've actually learned things from him that I've implemented in ours and just mastered it, right? Because again, duplicating his process is one thing, but I replicated it because I made it my own, right? All I do is put my little twist on it, my little.
Sure. Yeah, you put your yeah, absolutely.
That's what I would read. I would read your stuff, brother. I would go through you all day long. But John Cheplack's all about commitments, right? So I love that. And the other one too is from Because We're EXP. If you haven't read Brian Carruthers, Building an Empire, read it.
Money.
100%. I mean, that's it sits on my bedside table, and my wife laughs at me. She's like, how many times are you going to read it? I'm like, I just read certain passages over and over, so it gets my head right,
It does, 100%. I don't know how many dang copies I've got. I think I put them out in the garage, but there's like 20 copies laying around the house. I don't know why, but there's just a bunch of them around here.
Big fans of that. And the other thing that I always tell everybody, which you've heard me kind of say here, is when you're writing the stuff down, take the questions, like I'll give you the questions to ask. It's really simple. Write them down, or have them printed, I should say. Print them and literally have a line to put in your notes. And I teach the agents, so this is their confidence build immediately. If you literally have them in front of you, no one else is going to meet with their client with this in front of them. Everybody's afraid to have their shit in front of them. Oh, they think I don't know what I'm doing. No, quite the opposite. I'm a professional and I'm an expert. I don't want to miss anything. So bear with me. I want to make sure I've covered the things that are the most important things to you. I want to make sure I truly understand what you want. That's money. They're going to love you. What are they going to say? No, I don't want you to know what I want. I don't want you to help me. No, that's exactly what they want. It's the one thing no one else is saying to them. You've got it in front of you. Literally go down. That's what I tell them. You can memorize the list. Great. But you can do this in front of them. Literally, okay, well, let me make sure I've got it right. So where do you live right now? Okay, you're here. Okay, how long have you been there? Oh, okay, great. Act like you know the question. Study the questions so you know them, so you can own them when you say them, right? That's the replication, making it yours. Okay, great. So if I had to ask you, what does the perfect house look like for you today? What are you really wanting? What's the must-have? Boom. The question's right here. All I'm doing is reading the damn questions, but I'm writing it down. One, they know I'm listening to them because I'm writing their answers down. Two, they really think I care because all I'm doing is making sure I don't miss anything. And the truth is, when you wing it, you miss stuff. We skip steps.
Yep.
Don't skip. It's all right here, man. It's all right here. Write it down. You'll look like a professional. You look like an expert.
There's such power in that too, right? Power in people are just, it's so powerful when people are watching you work. It's just like, it's just build that connection. And the thing that, Curt, that we always talk about to remember, especially when you're working with a bunch of clients, if you don't write that down, you'll get it all intertwined and you can't. But the biggest thing that, from a negotiate, you touched on negotiation earlier, but with the negotiation, when it's negotiation time, right? We get deals. This is where the real selective amnesia comes in, especially with sellers, right?
Big time.
And if you don't have it, it's like, whoa, what's changed, right? We talked about, these were the items that like you could live without, right? It's part of the negotiation. This is where we're at. And so you got to be able to have that to bring it back in. If you don't write it down, then you're going to lose it at the time because like I said, they have amnesia when an offer's on the table.
They do, John, and I love that you said that, because they do. They get so selective. They remember the one thing they told you, but not the other 8 things that they told you not to do that this contradicts. They don't remember those 8. They just remember, well, no, I do want that. I said that once. Well, you also told me 8 times you didn't, but okay, right? But here's where you get the biggest commitment from them. And this is my favorite part. People want to negotiate, John, before they're ready to negotiate. So like you said, you got to know when is negotiation time, my favorite time, because this is when they have to commit the most. I'm not putting an offer in until I know for a fact you want it. So the way you do that, really simple stuff, right? Okay, great. So let's check off our boxes real quick. Let's look at you said it had to have this, this, and this. Oh my God. And this is where you get to play. Oh my God. Hug and kissing. We're on the same side. Oh my God. Look, it has exactly what we wanted. Oh, this is exciting. Right? Oh my God. I think this is exactly the one you said you wanted, because you said and repeat it back to them. This, this, and this. Nothing's changed, right? Yes. Oh my gosh. I think we need to be really aggressive and go after this. And now it's time for me to earn my money and negotiate for you. Is that what you want me to do? I want them to say, I want you to go negotiate for me, because what I just did is I just opened up their purse strings too. Market, right? You ain't coming in low. You ain't getting it. You better come in at and then start going up from there, right? That's the market we're in right now. So if we're not setting them up for this and getting them to commit, oh my God, I want this. Yes, let's get it.
For success.
100%, right?
I love it.
God, that's how we do that. Yeah. And that's my favorite commitment, because they're so committed now.
Man, brother, I really appreciate you. Man, just amazing. You guys go back and man, I would watch this one several times. So much awesome value, and I really appreciate you taking the time. I know your schedule is hectic as can be. You guys are doing amazing things. We were chatting before we went live with you guys. Almost 9% growth rate from last month, and it's not slowing down. So big things are happening. So make sure you guys give Curt lots of love, and man, really appreciate you.
Hey, Johnny, I love you, man. You know I do. Just my parting shot to everybody in Honey Badger Nation. The thing that it took me a little bit to get, and you got to get over yourself, is there are so many great people in this group. You got to tap into every one of them. And John won't tell you this, but I bug the hell out of him because he's so valuable. All right. I call him, I text him. He always responds at some point and gives me help. You know, the guys in our Honey Badger group, from Jay Kinder, Michael Reese, they take your calls. They will respond to your texts. Chuck Fazio, Curtis Johnson, Dan Beer. These are all guys that are in our group here. Oh my God. I ask all of them things all the time. And people are like, Curt, how do you know all this? That's why I asked them. You guys give us the fuel, brother. All we do is implement. And every Honey Badger out there, I promise you, you'll move the needle in your sales. You'll sell another house. You'll make more money. And you'll also start attracting more agents when you listen to them. I'm a sponge. I'm constantly asking questions to these guys, like John, like Chuck, like Jay, like Michael. I do, like Albie, right? I mean, these guys are amazing. Ask them.
Thank you, man. I really, like I said, I really appreciate you, and can't wait to catch up next time.
Looking forward to seeing you at the next event, man. Thanks, John.
See you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.